All right, so the next step for us is to start looking at half-step bends. Now, again, the same premise has got to apply here. We're going to be doing a bend that makes logical sense, although in this section, I'm going to also be showing you how to do some bending that gives you a bit more exotic sound as well, which is pretty cool. So what we're going to do is take this same kind of style of pentatonic scale that we've been playing, this A minor pentatonic shape, only I'm going to sort of transform this shape into a different scale, and it's going to be the C major scale. Now, again, we're not really worried about all the isms of what a scale is and all those sorts of things. That's another conversation for another day. But I want you to be aware of how you could apply a half-step bend in a realistic situation in your playing, and certainly to be able to execute the action of the bend itself. So I'm going to start on the 3rd string, 5th fret, and that note is, in fact, C. I'm going to play C to D. And then on the next string, what I'm going to do is, instead of just playing the 5th to 8th frets, which is E and G, I'm going to add in the 6th fret, which is F. So this note is new to us right now. And then we're going to go to the 1st string, which we used to just simply play A and C, which was 5th and 8th frets. Well, now we're going to add in the note B with our 3rd finger at the 7th fret. And if you know anything about scales, it sounds like Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, or a major scale. And the point now is, those 3 bends that we were doing, those 3 basic bends are still there, and they're still completely functional. But now you're going to notice that for the first time in this pentatonic concept, you have half steps. From E to F is a half step. And then from B to C on the 1st string is also a half step. Half step bending is a beautiful, beautiful sound. The bend is still executed exactly the same way you used to, although the fingers may possibly change a little bit. And I'm going to show you a few different things that you can do with this half-step kind of bending sound. And then we're going to go a little bit more exotic. I'm going to show you some different things that you can do. So first things first, let's look at the 2nd string from E to F, or 5th to 6th frets. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bend with my 1st finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. It's a really pretty melodic sound. Now, because it's only a half step, you might not have as much room to do some of the effects, although they're all transferable. You can do anything you want. But the kind of dip thing I was telling you about, you don't have as much room to make it as effective. Doesn't mean you can't do it. Of course you can. But again, your prime objective is the bend itself, being able to bend from point A to point B, which right now is only 1 fret. Okay, so we're bending with our 1st finger, and you'll notice again I'm pushing it up in the air. Okay. See how right there I'm bending a whole step on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. Then I'm bringing it back down, going to the 6 with my 1st finger, and then moving back to the 5 with my 1st finger, and then bending it up in the air. It's very pretty, very melodic sounding, and very functional, obviously. Another really common half-step bend, right here, from the B to the C with my 3rd finger. Now again, could I just bend with my 3rd finger? Of course. But if I have those anchors available, okay, these strengthened fingers, I'm going to add those on. Just to help me with it. If you don't need them, you don't have to use them. It's perfectly fine. But a lot of times if I'm on one of these fingers over here, I'll add these guys on just because it makes it easier for me to bend. Doesn't mean that it's necessary. It's just whatever's comfortable for you. So now, again, if I had this scale and I was moving around in it, I could play and get some really pretty half-step bend sounds in there. And of course, I can combine whole step and half step all over the place. I can do whatever I want. Now, half step doesn't have quite as much of a connection, like an anchor style thing. Although you can do some elements of anchoring. You know, I can, you know, like right there, I'm bending the 5 up to 6. And then I'm anchoring to the 8th fret of the 1st string, which sounds really pretty, okay? So again, as we keep going down this road, remember all of these isms that we're using, the idea of anchoring and the siren sounds and the dip things and, you know, the repetitive picking ideas, all of those are functional anytime. It's the idea of, again, what bend are you doing, the action of that bend,